Hello and welcome to one of the worst legato exercises I know of. I designed this because I was looking for something that could make legato harder. Because if I could encapsulate what is really the challenge of legato, the hammer-ons and pull-offs, and I could have an exercise that will really give me the most of what is hard, then I figured then I can have the most out of my time. Instead of doing a bunch of notes, that are easy and then we have that little hard place, let's have it all almost be hard. So I can really go in there. And it's based on the principle that we've been talking about in the 5, 6 previous videos, where we've been applying it to alternate picking and legato. And it's all about, instead of pulling back, which we do in the beginning when we start playing guitar, we start playing something that we can get pretty successful at pretty fast, right? And then we move on and we try to not be too challenged all the time because we have this thing of giving up. Oh, this is too hard, I give up. And that is the worst. So in order for us to actually continue, we set the bar, one step at a time. But once you get over the beginning thing and you're kind of stagnated in your development, you're thinking there's nothing really happened for the last year, I haven't really developed, then you need to put down another strategy entirely. And that's the opposite of trying to be comfortable all the time and to have these small wins. Yeah, I learned that now and woo, right? And instead you become a professional. When you want to be able to do something, you can certainly progress one step at a time, have small successes along the way. But if you want to go from being good at something to really mastering something, you must take on bigger challenges because you need to expand your brain's ability to grow. And we don't do that by taking baby steps and small steps all the time. Your brain's going to be comfortably learning, right? You're going to give it a little challenge and it's going to wake up out of its sleep and say, okay, let's look at it. We can do that. And after a week you can play that song. But we don't want to do that. We want to shock the brain. We want to give it something so hard and so challenging that it needs to amp up. And we send a clear signal to our whole system that here's something that we want to master, and you need to use all your resources, all your learning capabilities, all your focus, all your emotional, and it's going to be exhausting to practice like that. But what happens is once you return back to the stuff you thought was hard before, it's going to be super easy. Super easy. It's like, it's magic, After staying in that hard zone, you need to stay there and not touch any of the old stuff you used to practice. You stay there for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month, and then you try to go back and see how much you develop, right? So let's look at an exercise, which is also a really cool sequence that you can use in order for you to really encapsulate what is hardest about legato. And then please go back and watch the previous video because there's a lot of little details in how to perform the technique that you need to look into before you do this exercise. Because if you don't, it's just a waste of time, complete waste of time. So what is extra hard about this? Because we know the hammer-ons, we know the pull-offs, but the next level challenge when it comes to hammer-ons and pull-offs is when you have to anchor in your other fingers in order to make it happen. So we start here, if you look down on the fretboard, we start here by having the notes on the high E string in the key of C minor in the 8th, 10th and 11th fret on the high E string. Then we have the notes on the B string in the 8th, 9th and 11th fret. Right there. So I go in the descending version. I should say you can do this with the pick or without the pick. When you use the pick every time you have a first note on a string, right? If you don't use the pick, you hold lightly over the strings here, and then you use your 2 fingers here, the 4th finger and the 1st finger, to go from string to string. You simply tap like that. Right? But you can choose, this is the hardest of course, but when we talk about legato, we traditionally think of both picking and hammer-ons and pull-offs. So what I do is I go, All right, I'll start here. That's the simplest thing. Then we have a string shift. I can go. Or I can use my pick. That's the descending version. Right? Or without the pick. And you can really sense, if you don't use the pick, you can really sense that sound. I'm just gonna try and do it in a way that's not. Hear this? This is me not raising my pinky up tall, so it hits the fret or the string directly in. It's just accidentally hits both strings and creates this harmony there. So you're getting really punished when you try to avoid the pick. That string shift would sound like that if you don't have it. So you get really a great deal of feedback when you do this. All right, see if you can get it clean. So let me just play it slowly for you in both directions. This is the descending version. Then you go for the ascending version. All right? So what would we do here? Once we get down to this is one of the tough places because I have to go. So you have to anger your second finger as you hammer on and pull off with your fourth finger. And you do it again on the way up. Also this, anchoring the third finger on that note and doing a hammer on while it's, really severely limited like that, the fourth finger. And of course you can isolate it by trying to do that, but that's really such a difficult exercise to do. But if you do it with enough focus and enough repetition and enough precision, which is key here. Legato is precision. You learn to fret with precision. With your fingertips, with the right kind of directly in towards the frets, then you can get some amazing results. But the requirement of amazing results is that you stop trying to play fast. We gotta quit that, because when you're practicing, you're not performing. You can play fast when you perform, but you practice because you want to be able to play fast with precision. But that's another discussion. So you stay at a level where you can get that precision right. And the reward comes after, 3 hours of practicing, and then the next day you practice for a little bit and you just try to play as fast as you can, and you feel that increase in speed and fluidity underneath your fingers. So now let's move on to the next video. I hope to see you there, because we're going to use this principle even more in other areas of guitar playing.
Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.